strange stuff going on out in my old home state. Well, lived there for a while, of Oregon. According to ABC News, it's a peaceful protest. Peaceful protest followed by Oregon Wildlife Refuge action. One of the folks over at Democratic Underground, Marmar, has come up with perhaps a better headline. Adorably rambunctious white dads hold campground sleepover and patriotic Constitution hijinks at National Park. Right, here is this was one of the sons of Clive and Bundy, right? This is what one of the people there, one of these quote armed protesters has to say.
And bring your arms, and if you guys had bullies in high school, anybody? They always kicked the crap out of you, and you got sick of it at one point, didn't you? And you had to put him in his place. I had to knock mine out, and we became best friends. Now, I'm not going to be best friends at the BLM. The point is, until that line is drawn and say, we've had enough of this tyranny, you are going to leave us alone, it will not change. And you're going to see, this is the power of America right here. People got together for this. It doesn't have to stop here. This could be a hope that spreads to the whole country, the whole United States. Everybody's looking for this hope because the government has beat us and oppressed us and took everything from us. They will not stop until we tell them no.
Okay, enough of that. And this is, setting aside, which I'm not going to. I mean, we're going to get back to it. Some of the bizarre dimensions of this. The FBI, for example, announcing just before New Year's Eve that they had broken up a terrorist plan. It turns out that they had found the guy, funded the guy, encouraged the guy. When the guy tried to back out, talked him out of it. And, it's just one of those not real stories. But that was terrorism because the guy was Muslim. Is this? Who knows? Ian Millhiser's on the line with us. He's a constitutional policy analyst with the Center for American Progress, the justice editor at thinkprogress.org, the author of his latest book, Injustices, the Supreme Court's nearly unbroken history of comforting the comfortable and afflicting the afflicted. Ian, welcome back to the program.
It's good to be back. Thanks so much.
Great to have you with us. So what sort of... these guys aren't just saying, hey, we're a bunch of yahoos who are out of money, and so we're going to steal some federal land, and we're also going to start a giant fundraising campaign on the internet like our daddy did and make millions. They're really not saying that, although my guess is that's really what they're up to. Instead, what they're saying is that the federal government does not have the authority to own this federal land, and therefore us being citizens, it is ours. What say you as an attorney and as a legal analyst?
Well, I mean, the word I've been using to describe them isn't terrorists, it's insurgents, because what they are really doing here is claiming that they can wage, if not warfare, at least armed resistance against their own government.
So they're sort of like Robert E. Lee, are they not?
What's that?
They're sort of like Robert E. Lee. We don't like the way you're running this part of the country, so we're going to take it back.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a small-scale civil war that they're trying to wage here. The idea is that they can, through conventional warfare tactics, they're openly displaying their arms, and they've captured land which they believe is owned by a hostile sovereign. And they think that if they hold this land, they can establish a beachhead where other similarly minded people, this is what they've said themselves, will come and they can, I guess, form the kind of community they want where people can engage in various activities using the land and not be subject to federal law. That's their goal. Their idea is to create this enclave where they could run things the way that they want to do that. And, for obvious reasons, that is not how a nation works. You don't get to find some land that you want, and because you have a bunch of guys, claim it for yourself, and then after you have claimed it for yourself, then say that, oh, and by the way, the only laws that are going to apply here are the laws that we want to follow.
Yeah, no, we have to say, hey, Andrew Jackson stole that land from the Indians, and you're not going to steal it from us. The Supreme Court said you can't.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean,
to introduce a bit of irony here.
Yeah, no, I would put it I would refer, I guess, to more recent Supreme Court decisions that don't have the same pedigree.
Right.
So, what the Constitution says is it says that Congress has the power to dispose of and make all needful rules or regulations respecting the territory and other property belonging to the United States. Those are the words of the Constitution. So the government can own land, it can sell the land if it wants to, and then when it has the land, it can make regulations governing how that land will be used. And that's what these folks object to. The Supreme Court in 1976 said that Congress has the power to pass pretty much whatever laws it wants governing the use of federal land. These guys don't like the fact, and, they can not like it all they want, but at the end of the day, what they're resisting is they're resisting the Constitution, and they're resisting constitutional, lawfully enacted laws that they just think they shouldn't have to follow.
Do you think that this is a symptom of the fact-free living that is found over at Fox so-called News and other parts of the right-wing Reichssphere, or whatever you call this thing, where, when Donald Trump lies, people will say, oh, yeah, I'll support him even more.
Right. Well, what certainly happened here is that Fox has enabled this the first time around. So, I mean, you'll remember, about a little more than a year ago, there was this guy, Cliven Bundy, who staged who was surrounded by a bunch of militiamen who staged a similar uprising because Bundy didn't want to follow the federal government's laws either. This new insurgency in Oregon is led by one of Bundy's sons. And the first time around, when it was Clive Bundy, Sean Hannity was practically a mouthpiece for Clive and Bundy. He had guests on who said that the Constitution doesn't allow the federal government to even own any of the land it owns in Nevada, much less regulate that land. So this was touted very loudly by outlets like Fox News. I mean, one thing that's been interesting is this time around, the media coverage from outlets from Fox has been a little quieter. I think a reason why is because, of course, the saga of Clive Bundy ended with him giving a racist speech that included the phrase, "one thing that I know about the Negro." So I think there might be some outlets that are a little more cautious of associating with these folks because they've learned that if you ally with people who have extreme and ridiculous views on one issue, they're likely to have extreme and ridiculous views on another issue.
Right.
But at least the first time around, Fox was very much in these folks' corner.
Yeah, it's really remarkable. I haven't taken the opportunity to watch Fox News at all since this began, which I probably should have done. I guess I'll have to go over to Media Matters and see how Fox is covering it. But it's absolutely bizarre. And Ian, I really appreciate your thoughtful analysis and pointing out the actual words of the Constitution. Where in the Constitution is that?
And then it's called the Property Clause of the Constitution. I believe it's in Article 4. Article
4, okay. And because these guys, they're in love with Article 1, Section 8. That's all they ever pay attention to, although they seem to ignore the general welfare provisions that are listed twice in that part. Anyhow, Ian Millhiser, Constitutional Policy Analyst, Center for American Progress, Justice Editor at thinkprogress.org, author of a new book, Injustices, the Supreme Court's Nearly Unbroken History of Comforting the Comfortable and Afflicting the Afflicted. Ian, thank you for dropping by.
Thank you.
It's always great talking with you.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.